Hey everybody, and welcome back to Plus Ultra Pitching. We are finally going to break down a full motion fastball pitch. If you have been with us since the beginning of this Back to the Basics challenge, congratulations for making it this far. If you are just joining us, our Back to the Basics was a series of drills, 13 drills to be exact, each building on the week before to make a full motion fastball pitch. And today we're going to break that down for all of you. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you are a righty like me, you're going to take a step forward with your right foot. If you're a lefty, you're going to take a step forward with your left foot. And you want this to be comfortable. You want your feet to be about hip width, shoulder width apart. So this is going to be our starting stance that we're setting up right now. It's a staggered step. You can imagine there's a mound underneath my feet. And I like to stay on the balls of my feet, so my heels are just barely off the ground. So if someone were to come and try to slide a piece of paper underneath my heels, they would be able to do it. Not tiptoes, but just balls of your feet and athletic. So this is going to be our starting stance. The next part of the pitch that we're going to talk about is our presentation, right? So this is when your throwing hand and your glove hand come together to meet before you move forward to deliver the softball. A couple ways you can do this. Option number one is you can have the ball in your throwing hand the whole time, glove hand empty, and you can bring the ball in your throwing hand up to meet your glove hand, take them out, and then proceed with your pitch. Or my personal favorite is I like to hide the ball in my glove. So I start with the ball in my glove. I take my throwing hand, which is empty, bring it up to my glove, get whatever grip that I need to get for my pitch, and then take it out of my glove and start my pitch. I like this way because it hides it from the batters a little bit, so they don't really get to see the ball as it's coming out. But to each their own. I know a lot of girls that like to start with it in their throwing hand. One important note is that you're only allowed to bring your throwing hand and your glove hand together once per pitch. So that means that you can't start with it in your glove, take it out of your glove, bring it back into your glove, and then pitch. Your throwing hand is only allowed to come and meet that glove hand once. The next part of the pitch that we're going to talk about is the reach part of the pitch. So for the reach, at this point, we can assume we've presented the ball. And actually, I misspoke. Before we do the reach, let's talk about the load. The load is right before we actually push off the rubber, and this is the part that looks a little bit different for everyone. Some pitchers have, a motion where they bring the ball up. Some pitchers have a more simple motion where they just move straight forward. At the end of the day, every pitcher is going to have a portion of the pitch in which they're loading their hips back and their chest is coming over their toes. In this part of the pitch, you can have a backswing. I have a backswing where you bring your throwing hand back behind your hips and your body, or you don't need a backswing. You can also just keep the ball kind of at your belly button. This is our load position, very strong. The same position we had in those single leg hops we were doing, and we just placed our foot down behind us. After the load position comes the explode or the reach part of the pitch, where we explode forward and we extend our hips just like we did for the broad jumps in that drill. So my chest is going from this chest over toes position, extend my hips, squeeze your glutes, chest is now facing towards my target. And at this point, our back leg is going to start reaching, our knee's going to start driving also towards our target. Glove hand, throwing hand, both reaching straight towards our target. I like to have my throwing hand palm down at this point in the pitch. The next part of the pitch is transitioning to power K. So here we're going to make a rainbow. So imagine there's a string attached to your elbow. Elbow's going to lead this motion as you land here. Glove hand is facing towards your target. Throwing hand, palm up towards the sky, kind of a W in the elbow. So both elbows are bent and relaxed. And in the power K position, hips and shoulders are both pretty open, so you guys can read my Plus Ultra Pitching sweatshirt. What's going to happen as we move forward for the wrist snap is my back leg, in this case my right leg as a righty, My hip's going to engage, which means my knee is going to drive towards the catcher. So let's see that again. It's going from this open position, driving towards the catcher. Hips are engaged. So now hips are both facing towards the catcher. Shoulders are still open. So at this point now, we'll keep coming through. I'm trying to do this in slow motion for everyone. So at this point, our hips engage and we're dragging through. As we drag, our shoulders are going to start turning. Our ball is going to reach this lowest point of the pitch right next to our right hip. This is when we snap it off and follow through. That was a lot of information packed in there for you guys. A couple things that I wanted to note that I realized I had left out. When you're getting ready for your start position, you can either start with both feet on the mound. There are also a couple rules called a step back and a start back rule. That is something I can go over in another video for anyone who is interested, but essentially you don't have to start with both of your feet on the rubber. You are allowed to start with your back foot slightly off of the rubber now. And in certain cases, in certain scenarios, some pitchers are allowed to take a step back before moving forward. All right, I'll show you guys my full motion pitch. I just want everyone to know that everyone's body is going to be different. So I don't want or need your presentation or your pitch to look exactly like mine. I just wanted to go through the foundations and I wanted to show you what it's going to look like when you put it all together. So I start with the ball in my glove. I do a little rock back and then I load and explode. Get my sign from the catcher. Load and explode, driving that knee straight towards your catcher. All right, well, it was a lot of information. If you have any questions or need any clarification, leave it in the comment section below. I'd be happy to help you guys out. For anyone who has just finished up the challenge, send me some videos of your full motion pitch. I'm excited to see how much it's improved since the beginning of this challenge. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We put out new videos every single week and we have a really cool series coming up for you guys in January, so you'll make sure you want to stay tuned. Check out our website for the resources we offer, including video evaluations and pitching workouts that are designed specifically to work with coaches. And as always, plus ultra!